Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're here with the Dark Elves, as you can see from the cute, cuddly Hydra. We're going to be taking on the foul forces of the Greenskins, so let's go ahead and jump straight to the army compositions. So my forces are going to be led by Marathi here, up in the air. She's got both debuffs, Enchanting Beauty and the Heartrender and Dark Sword item. That gives a -9 melee attack and defense. Enchanting Beauty is -9 melee attack, 8% charge bonus. The Heartrender and Dark Sword you do need to be in melee to use, but otherwise both combined are a very powerful debuff, -18 melee attack in total, with some other goodies. Of course, we've got Soul Stealer as well for self-healing, and the Wand of Caradon. Yeah, I'm sure I just butchered that, but anyway, in terms of the infantry line, we've got 1 Hargoneth Executioner, 2 units of Black Ark Corsairs, 4 Dread Spears up front, and then out towards the flanks we've got 4 units of Dark Riders and 2 Lizard Limos. So as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the Lizard Limos. They're a great unit, armor-piercing and melee anti-infantry. They also have armor-piercing missiles. When properly supported, they can even take on heavy cavalry. For the Greenskins now, if we go ahead and take a look at their force, they are going to be led by Wurzag here. He's got, let's see here, FG to get. He's also got, here we go, Fists of Gork and Gaze of Mork with the Bonewood Staff. So definitely looking to proc that as much as possible. We've got a couple of Black Orcs. Looks like some Orc Biggins, just regular Orc Biggins, 2 of them. 3 Black Orcs, 1 Savage Orc. We've also got a couple of Goblin Archers with the Rusty Airs, another Biggin in the rear, and I believe that's pretty much everything. Not too much cav. It looks like does look like there's some Orc Boar Biggins hidden in the woods here, and I believe there's one more group hidden out to the woods on the far side. Yep. So very good stuff. Let's go ahead and put the battle into full gear, and we'll watch as things unfold. So yeah, Wurzag and his force is going to be kind of pushing up to try and engage a little bit sort of this way, but Marathi and her Dark Elves with the high ground here are going to be pushing forward. Out on the flanks, I do get caught out here. Orc Boar Biggins do get me on a charge. Thankfully, because of the woods here, it's not going to be the best, but these Dark Riders will take some damage. Meanwhile, over on this other side, we're just kind of skirmishing a little bit, and now actually going to use the Dark Riders to charge. And, I mean, Orc Biggins do have 60 armor. They will take some damage from the Dark Riders just straight up. Then we're also going to follow up with Chariots. You can see this Lizard Limo also in the combat here as well. And the Chariots, if properly supported, can actually take on various units of heavy cavalry. Particularly if you have spears or other units, it's more ideal. But against a relatively light cavalry, I guess War Biggins are more of a medium cav, but yeah, the Dark Riders will suffice there. Meanwhile, you can see in the main line here, we've got the Hydra lining up for a nice breath attack here right on top, and the forces on top of the hill here. My front line's definitely going to get Monster Mash. There were some trolls here that I failed to spot as well. Unfortunately, that breath, some of the projectiles actually miss. We do get some okay damage in. It is enough to terrify away those Savage Orcs, and that's probably going to be enough to terrify away the trolls as well. Trolls are a pretty solid pick in this matchup. They do require some micro as they'll run away and come back quite a bit, but you can see the wand there coming down and doing a ton of damage to Wurzag, probably about 30 to 40%, maybe 30% or so of his HP. Dread Spears engaging all across. You can see the Hargoneth Executioner is also going to be getting into the front line here, along with these Dread Spears, fighting the Black Orcs a bit. Unfortunately, we are losing this mainline engagement pretty decisively. Not too surprising. The Greenskins definitely have a very strong front line. Well, hopefully we're going to be able to rally this Hydra. That's the most important thing, is to take away my opponent's mobility so he can't chase the Hydra down. To that effect, we've got the Orc Boar Biggins tied up on this flank still with the Chariots and the Dark Riders. Over on this flank, we've just won that engagement, so we're going to be bringing these forces out of the woods. And yeah, you can see Hargoneth Executioners fighting a little bit uphill here because of the awkward engagement, but Marathi does come down and try and assassinate Wurzag. Anytime there's a big blob like this, we're going to try and drop that Soul Stealer, but Wurzag does pop effigy to get on her, so she's going to be locked in combat here. That being said, we do bring in the Lizard Limos here for a little bit of support. They're going to run over these Savage Orcs And Marathi, with all the debuffs going off, you can see Wurzag's combat stats are in the pits here. Only 33 attack and 16 defense, which for a heroic unit is terrible, especially considering that Marathi does have an anti-large bonus, so she'll very much excel in this fight here. Wurzag is going to take a lot of damage. Granted, Marathi will take some back, but yeah, Wurzag's definitely going to take the south end of that engagement. Meanwhile, Black Orcs just being tied down by the Dark Riders here. We are kind of losing the infantry fight still. We've been able to rally some troops. The Hydra's come back and is fighting amongst some of these biggins here. So we've been able to kind of generate some nice little isolated pockets here that maybe we can deal with, but Lizard Limos unfortunately rout. My opponent did a very good job coming in with the charge with these trolls here, and the trolls actually, I mean, they have the armor piercing to deal with the Cold One chariots. You can see them actually starting to down some unit models, but Marathi slipped back up in the air, and she's going to be coming back over, dropping another Soul Stealer. She's trying to do as much damage to Wurzag at this point to try and take him off the battlefield. It would have been better to probably cast that on a big blob, but at the very least we did catch some Goblin Archers and Wurzag, but more chariot play coming in from the side as we had beat those boar biggins. But again, my opponent responding very, very well with the trolls here. But Marathi is going to come down and start proccing those debuffs. I realize that this is a pretty bad situation for me, so I need to start stacking those debuffs up. And you can see the trolls here down to very low melee attack and defense as well. So Hargoneth Executioners unfortunately have been cleaned up. You can see the balance power pretty far against us. There's really mostly just the Hydra, Marathi, and the one unit of chariots left, along with some other tattered units. But yeah, the chariots will be able to get some work done in here. They're not going to want to sit and fight against Black Orcs for too long. At this point, I'm actually leaving him in here for a little bit too long, but we need to get Marathi back up in the air. I failed to catch it, but we did drop one more cast of the wand, made square contact with Wurzag, and brought him down to only 108 HP, and he did rout, so this is a wonderful get for me. If I can snipe out the leadership here, all the green skin units are going to be vulnerable to terror routing from the Hydra, which you can see is rallying in the forest here, quickly approaching its healing cap. But this is why it was so important for me to deprive my opponent of his mobility, because then he could chase the Hydra off, whereas right now it's going to continuously rally and heal up until its healing cap. Another really nice Soul Stealer going down in this big blob, just trying to do some damage there and keep Marathi in tip-top shape. Marathi herself still has quite a bit of healing cap. Looks like actually not much. Has only 600 points left on the healing cap there, so she's getting pretty close. But at this point, we're going to get some units rallying over here. Dread Spear's just kind of being used to tie things up for a minute while we finish off Wurzag, and you can see Marathi going to come down and administer the final blow here out in the snow. Maybe. Come on, Marathi. You can do it. There we go. Takes down the Hog Lord, and then going to be quickly rallying back to the battle. At this point, the Hydra does come back. You can see a little fire breath going down, pretty much routing off those Goblin Archers immediately. And thankfully for me, I do still have a few Dark Riders trolling around. You can see some in the woods here. And at this point, the Dark Riders are going to be very useful in chasing down routing units. You can see the one chariot still on the field here, and the Dark Riders doing some nice work here, cleaning up this Orc biggin that's routing. There are still some Black Orcs on the field, and the Trolls, which could potentially be pretty dangerous. There's still 11 unit models. They've got some good work done so far. Almost an XP chevron, so it's kind of a stealth pick, but I really like it in the end. But now we're going to bring the Hydra and Marathi up. My opponent's going to turn his archers immediately to start shooting at the Hydra. However, we're going to not want this to happen, obviously, so Marathi's going to come down into combat, just tie them down momentarily while the Hydra then gets into the Black Orcs here. So you can see it getting a nice rear charge, doing some good armor-piercing damage. The Trolls come in, but thankfully the Terror is enough to rout off these Goblin Archers, and then Marathi can kind of sit here and Monster Mash a little bit with the Hydra. Obviously, she has anti-large, so when she gets attacks against the Trolls, she will be able to take them down. And she also has armor piercing, so even attacking like the Black Orcs, she'll be able to do some damage. Marathi's just a really nice character, I have to say. The more I play with her as my lord, the more I enjoy her in multiplayer, I'll say. She's definitely a great tool. You can see at this point just a general rout going down from a lot of the green skin units. The balance power finally tipping in my favor. We are going to pull a little bit of hit points off this War Hydra here just to try and finish things off. There's one more healthy-ish unit of Black Orcs here. But yeah, the Dark Rider is going to be used to finish off these Savage Orcs. The Trolls do come back for more, but their leadership is so low at this point that they're going to be very easily terrified away by the Hydra. That being said, they are going to get in here and get a little bit of damage done, and the Hydra is going to start nipping at him a little bit. Meanwhile, Marathi's chasing off some Black Orcs while these other Black Orcs kind of lumber on back. They are pretty slow at this point, especially considering they're probably exhausted. Yep. So they're going to be extra slow, and yeah, you can see the Trolls are doing some damage here, but at the end of the day, it's just not quite going to be enough. We're also finishing off the Rusty Arrows here with these Dark Riders in the Chariot. Obviously, the Archers are a huge risk to the Hydra, so we want to keep them routed off as much as possible. The Trolls once again going to rout, and Marathi now coming back, dropping down one more Soul Stealer on this healthy unit of Black Orcs here, just to suck a few more hit points out. And Marathi is probably going to get to her healing cap from that if we watch here. Yep, looks like she did indeed get to her healing cap almost, just a few HP short. But yeah, at the end of the day, another breath attack going down straight into the face of those Black Orcs, and then the Hydra is just going to follow up with a quick charge. Meanwhile, we're going to get these mobile units coming back over to try and clean up this last unit of Gabo Archers. And I have to say, it's been a very close battle, super fun battle as well. Yeah, very appropriate to be fighting on one of these Naggarond maps also with Marathi and the Dark Elves. You can see Marathi over here finishing off some Black Orcs. We'll soak up some cinematic action of her just getting circle beaten a little bit here, but I mean, again, she does do armor piercing damage, so she'll be... Oh man, look at that decapitation. Way to go, Marathi. With the rear charge from the Hydra, that should be able to finish everything off here. The Trolls coming back for more, but then they shatter, and at this point, the Hydra comes in, gets a really nice charge into the Black Orcs, and yeah, that is pretty much going to be game at that point. So well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. It was a super fun battle. Like I said, Marathi, you know, she's a really sneaky character, I would say. She's, you know, almost an assassin in a way, because she's very, very fast, especially when she's up in the air. Even on foot, she can be pretty tanky, and there's some different strategy there that maybe we'll talk about on another day. But up in the air, especially against a faction like the Greenskins, it doesn't really have too many tools. I mean, effigy to get and missile units obviously are one. If you've been able to catch me with that effigy to get while I was over top of his archers and then just shoot me to death, that's one way to do it. But yeah, you can see Marathi playing to her strengths. There are 110 kills between all the Soul Stealers and the work she did in melee, doing all the damage to Wurzag as well, so really carrying a heavy load there, whereas the front line just got completely crushed. Even the Hargoneth Executioners, only 46 kills, really did not pay off. You can see these Black Orcs, 146 on 122. Some serious work done. Even the big ones, 60, 33, 92. Savage Orcs underperformed a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of Savage Orcs at the moment. I think it probably would have been more cost effective to bring a unit of Nasty Skulkers. That way you at least have the Smoke Bomb, and they do armor piercing as well. So yeah, useful in that respect. Overall, a pretty solid build, though. I mean, maybe it would have been useful to try and find the funds to upgrade one of these to the Broken Tusk mob, but overall, it's a pretty interesting matchup, a pretty dynamic matchup, too. Can kind of go either way, so I know one of you guys had commented on my my alias here that I've been fighting under for the last few days, and if any of you get this reference, then you are officially my new favorite person. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this kind of content, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm trying to keep it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day. Normally I do 2 videos a day, but over this weekend I'm only going to be able to put out 1. But rest assured, Monday we'll be back at 2 videos a day. Have some juicy discussion videos planned, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time.